The battle continued, Sophia Achamoth ever striving to protect, and Yaldabaoth ever determined to destroy. At last, sorely affected by the evils which had befallen her human grandchildren, Sophia Achamoth was afraid that darkness would prevail against her. Ascending to the feet of her celestial mother, the heavenly Sophia, which is the wisdom of God, she besought the all-knowing to prevail upon the unknown depth, which is the everlasting Father, to send down into the underworld the Christos, who was the son of the union of the Father of fathers and heavenly wisdom. Yaldabaoth and his 6 sons of matter were weaving a curious web by which they were gradually but inevitably shutting out the divine wisdom of the gods to the end that mankind should perish in the darkness. The most difficult part in the salvation of man lay in discovering the method by which the Christos could enter into the physical world. This method must be within the law of creation, for the gods cannot depart from their own ways. To build bodies was not within the province of the higher gods. Therefore, Yaldabaoth himself had to be coaxed into creating, without knowing the end, a body to receive the Soter. Sophia Achamoth appealed to the pride of the Demiurge and finally prevailed upon Yaldabaoth to prove his powers by creating a good and just man by the name of Jesus. When this had been accomplished, the Soter Christos enveloped himself in a cloak of invisibility and descended through the spheres of the 7 archons. In each of the arches he assumed a body appropriate to the substance of the sphere. In this way, concealing his true nature from the genii, or guardians of the gates. In each world he called upon the sparks of light to come out of the darkness and join him. Having united all the light of all the worlds in his own nature, the Christos descended into the man Jesus at the baptism. This was the moment of the age of the great miracle. Yaldabaoth, having discovered that the Soter had descended incognito to thwart his purposes, stirred up the people against Jesus, and using all the forces of materiality at his command, he succeeded in destroying the body by which the Christos was functioning in the material sphere. But before the Soter departed from the earth, he implanted in the souls of just men an understanding of the great mysteries and opened forever the gate between the lower and higher universes. Thwart thus completes the story. Thence, ascending into the middle space, he, Christ, sits on the right hand of Yaldabaoth, but unperceived by him, and there collects all the souls which shall have been purified by the knowledge of Christ. When he has collected all the spiritual light that exists in matter out of Yaldabaoth's empire, the redemption will be accomplished and the world will be destroyed. Such is the meaning of the reabsorption of all the spiritual light into the pleroma or fullness, whence it originally descended. Gnostic Christianity conceived of salvation without benefit of exoteric clergy. Christ, the Soter, was the high priest, who, by his descent, destroyed forever the old order of the world. Religion became a matter of internal adjustment. Forms and rituals by which primitive peoples had propitiated Ialdabaoth were regarded as valueless under the dispensation of the Christos. The mystic sacraments of the Gnostics, on the other hand, were instituted by the Christos to facilitate knowledge of the truth. The rule of fear and darkness was gone. The rule of love and light had come. It appears, however, that the Church regarded this new arrangement as economically unsound. The Gnostics were destroyed, lest their philosophy render useless the temporal power of the Christian Church. It was Basilides who claimed to have been a disciple of one of the 12 apostles who formulated the strange concept of deity, which carried the name Abraxas. In the ancient system of numerology, the number equivalent to Abraxas is 365. Therefore, this divinity represents the 365 aeons, or great spiritual cycles, which together make up the nature of the Supreme Father. The natural physical symbol for the source of spiritual light is the visible sun, the source of physical light. Therefore, Abraxas is a sun god. The deity itself is a composite creature with the head of a rooster, the body of a human being, and with legs ending in serpents. This Gnostic pantheos represents the supreme principle expressing 5 attributes or emanations. The head of the rooster signifies phronesis, foresight, or vigilance. The 2 arms bearing the whip and shield are Dynamis and Sophia, power and wisdom. The 2 serpents forming the legs are Nu and Logos, wisdom and understanding, by which the figure is supported. The human body is a mystical intimation that all these powers shall be revealed or perfected in man. Although the early church did everything possible to exterminate the Gnostics, cupidity played a part in the survival of some of the holy relics. The Gnostic hierophants identified themselves by their signets or jewels of recognizance. These signets were usually intaglios, plain on one side and with the figure of Abraxas or the lion face of the sun on the other. The stones were set with the plain surface on the outside to make identification of the wearer more difficult. The gems were frequently engraved with Greek letters around the central design. These letters represented magic words or the name of God. The more commonly used stones were carnelian, crystal, bloodstone, and emerald matrix. The church fathers had no mind to destroy valuable property, so the rings were saved and also some inscribed gems containing prayers or fragments of Gnostic philosophy and magic. The Abraxoids, stones bearing the figure of Abraxas, are exceedingly rare, but we are able to reproduce with this article a fine example from the collection of our society. There are small collections of these gems in the Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris and the Library of the Vatican at Rome. Gnostic intaglios date from the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd centuries of the Christian era. The Abraxoids originated in northern Egypt, and the strongest seat of the Egyptian Gnosis was the library city of Alexandria.